It's a mess. Welcome back to my channel. So this is my first story time. I'm gonna start a story time series, and hopefully you guys find it very entertaining, and I don't know, get a good laugh out of it, because like, you know, at the time it's not that funny, but then again, when you look back at it, it's hilarious. So this is pretty much my first week I have my license. I just got my license my junior year, so it was so exciting. I got my license and a new job all the same month. So I was like super stoked, and a week later would be my junior year's winter break. I was on winter break my junior year, and I started my new job, and I got my license, and I didn't have a car, so I had to haul around my stepmom's Pontiac. When I closed at my job, it's not necessarily that my parents didn't trust me, it's just that I was a new driver still. When I closed at my job, my dad would take me and pick me up from work. One day, I don't know what happened, but I was just like, Dad, I was like, let me drive by myself. I'm like, let me take myself home, blah, blah. And so he's like, no, blah, blah. I was like, okay. And then my sister just finally convinced him, my stepmom did too. And so like, yeah, just let her do it. She's gonna have to do it eventually. And so we're closing, and like 5 minutes before we close, I see my dad pull up in his car. And so I was like, great. And so my dad's like, he's like, I'm gonna follow you home. I was like, alright. Like, I'm gonna impress my dad and get my dad's trust that way, or I'm gonna like suck and I'm gonna screw up. I noticed that street signs, the sign for the street name is very tiny and not as bright and bold as it should be. Okay, not to mention, majority of drivers probably need glasses. Not everybody has 20/20 vision. It was kind of intimidating. My dad was driving behind me. And so I was driving in, like, and where I live, a bunch of moms, they drive huge cars. It's not necessarily minivans, it's just SUVs. Everybody where I live drives SUVs or trucks. And so I'm like driving in her Pontiac, and I'm like, I have my glasses on, and let me show you my glasses. Don't make fun of me. So these are my glasses, and I'm sorry about the glare. And so I'm driving at like this speed limit, my seatbelt's on correctly, because like I normally like to pull my seatbelt behind me because it bugs my chest, I guess. And so like I have everything on correctly. I'm following the speed limit, and I like have my glasses on, and I'm focusing on the street name. I'm like, is this where I turn at? Because like, I don't know, it was intimidating that my dad was following behind me, and like the street name, like I was just nervous, I guess I should say. And it was like my first time driving home that late that night. Like my first time ever. So I'm like driving, and I'm like focusing, like, what does it say? And so and I was focusing more on the name than the light. What the light was saying? The light was saying I'm red, not I'm green. And so I'm driving. I'm pretty sure you guys can see where this is going. So I'm driving, and I run this red light. Flat red light. It would have been totally my fault. I run this red light, but on my behalf. I'll show you this in a second. So I run this red light, and this car was like, the street where he or she, wherever they were, the street where they were driving on, the speed limit is 45, and they're flooring like 65. And so, and I'm going 45 too, because I'm like that whole street, and both of those streets we're both on, they're both residential areas. And so I'm like driving, and I like blinked, and then I could see a car driving across me. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my heart just dropped. And so, and they were going so fast, they pushed my huge Pontiac, they pushed it behind, and they were driving, I don't remember. It was like I said, everybody drives huge cars. It was either like an Expedition or like a Chevy. And so we both have big cars. So they pushed my huge car behind theirs. Like I could feel the wind like push it. You know, like when you're at a red light and people are driving by when you're turning, and they're going straight, and they're driving by, and you can kind of feel your car move. That's how it felt like. And we were both driving at the same time. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my heart dropped. And so I go into the street, I flipped a U-turn, and I was so scared to get home, because like my dad saw the entire thing because he was behind me. And so then my stepmom was parked in the garage, and my dad parks in the driveway. So I pull up in the garage. I'm nervous as heck. I'm scared. And so my dad thought I was on my phone and not paying attention. And so he pulls up and he's like, give me your phone. And I was like, no. And so it wasn't even like iPhone at the time. Like the cool phones back then were like the Blackberries and like the freaking slide up phones or something like that. iPhones weren't that big, and neither were Androids. So like if you honestly think about it, 2 years ago, like iPhones and Androids weren't as big as they are now. And so I was like, no. And then so he's just pissed, and so he just walks away, and I got to keep my phone. So I go in my room, I'm freaking nervous, and my stepmom comes in, and I was like, dang. And she was like, your dad told me what happened. And I was like, I wasn't texting and driving, I promise, blah blah blah. So sad. I'm like kind of crying about it, because like I was trying to get my dad's trust for me to drive by myself at night when I closed at work. And so she's like, yeah, I believe you. I was like, I couldn't see the sign, what it said, and some car was like almost hit me, and she's like, yeah, your dad said he almost watched you die. And so I was like, I know. And so I was like, but on my behalf, like what I had to say for my defense is that guy was like flooring like 65 in a residential area, because it was so late at night and the roads are open, so wherever they were speeding for, they were speeding. That's pretty much how it ended. And then like, enjoyed this and find this entertaining, and yeah, bye.